Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I would like to show you my first project created on the Sentro knitting machine. I will use it for it at Alison and Me grey silver yarn. We will need as well some waste yarn. I will use two colors. Crocheting hooks can be useful. And we will need as well some tapestry needles and scissors. So let's get started. So I cast on the first waste yarn on every second needle. Then we place the yarn into the yarn feeder like this. I put the counter on 0 and now I will crank 6-7 rows of the waste yarn. Now I will crank one full circle of the waste yarn in a different color. I choose a contrasting color to my silver grey working yarn. Later you will see how important it is. So now I'm taking the skein on my working yarn and I propose you to find the tail in the middle of the skein. It will make work easier. So I'm placing the working yarn at the first needle. I'm passing it through the feeder. At the beginning I used my tensioner, but during the work I realized that the yarn is not very even and the tensioner was blocking every 5 minutes. So I put my counter on 0 again and I will start cranking about 90-100 rows. First 2 rows you have to crank really slowly to be sure that we not lose any stitch. Here start my first problem with the tensioner. Some bulks appear on the yarn. After a few rows, I add my laundry bags to put some more weight on the yarn. It will help to keep the stitches on the needles. I use 8 laundry bags. And now it's time to crank 80-100 rows depending on the yarn. Every time the laundry bags arriving on the table level, I remove them and I roll the knitted part up. As the knitted part seemed very fluffy and extensible, I decided to stop at 90 rows. I cut the long tail of the yarn about 1 meter because I will use it later to assemble both parts of the project. Now I am taking again the pink yarn and I will make one full circle with it as I did at the beginning. You will see how useful it will be later. After one full circle, I cut off the yarn. And now I will be using again my working yarn of the different color. Like at the beginning, I will run 6-7 rows. And every time I change the color, I crank slowly. Now I will need a tapestry needle to cast off all stitches one by one. Here I made a mistake because I passed the needle through the first stitch, which is not necessary. I have to undo it. Now I can continue removing all the stitches. And another error. I missed one stitch. Now I have to repair it. To repair this one lost stitch, I use my needle, but you can use the crocheting hook. So now everything is okay. Now I can stretch the knitted part in all directions. It will help to even the stitches. So my knitted piece is about 60 centimeters long and about 20 centimeters large. So now we can start the finishing step. So now I'm pulling one half of the tube to the inside of the another half of the tube like this. I stretch it again. And all I have to do now is to join both extremes of the tube together. To make the work easier, I moved the joining point from the edge on the middle. At this moment, we are coming to the point to see how important it was to make one row in a different color. Now, using the long tail of my silver thread and the tapestry needle, I will use the mattress stitch to join both edges. I'm taking 2 stitches from one side and 2 stitches from another side. And now my pink yarn helps me to distinguish easily the stitches of the silver yarn. And like this I do the whole circle to close the both edges. I don't squeeze the yarn very hard, I leave it pretty loose. It will help to create an impression of a regular row of the stitches. Now I finish the whole circle. As you can see, it looks like a regular stitch. Now it's time for the magic part. I find the ends of the pink thread, and now I can remove it. I'm pulling it gently and remove it completely. As you can see, it helped me to separate the waste yarn in 1 second. I will keep it and I will be using it in another project. Now I do the same with another pink thread. And another part of the waste yarn has been separated. As you can see, the joining row is almost invisible. And the last thing to do is to take the beginning and the ending tails, make a knot and hide the thread in between the layers. Last stretching to make even the stitches, and it's done. My neck warmer is ready to wear. So what do you think? And another one. Different colors, different yarn. I like it a lot. As you have seen, I've made two neck warmers. One from the very thin multicolor yarn. I wasn't sure if it would work well on the Sentro knitting machine, but as you can see, it worked very well and I didn't have any problem with it. The grain and silver yarn is thicker, but not very even. I found a few bugs during working, but it is as well very nice to wear. Just one thing, the next time I would do rather 100 rows instead of 90. So it was very interesting experience making the same project using two different yarns, and I hope you like this video. You can leave your comments below and see you next time. Bye bye.